With that also being said.
That also means I'm going to get called a terrorist by this guy.
Hey, that's not even the
even
worst
though
thing.
he's the real terrorist.
That's not even the worst thing he's...
No.
It's blooming.
Hey, is this thing on?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Are We Recording? Back for episode 2 of season 2. And today we are joined by Khalid the Great. As always, your favorite co-host, Ethan Hamilton, the young Rottweiler. And 007 Gage Sutton here, running the show. And now, guys, first off, I want to say, Khalid, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you having us, but for those of y'all that don't know, Khaled's been helping us with a bunch of the stuff that we've been doing, so this has been a long time coming.
It's been in the pipes for a minute.
Yeah.
Man, I've been begging him to come by.
But you're a busy dude. It's hard to get you on.
It is hard to get Khalid.
It's
Yeah.
hard to get me anywhere, man. I'm busy.
So I guess kind of tell us a little bit about why you're so busy. So obviously on top of helping us with our production and
Just anything
filming
like
and stuff.
Like for those who are listening, like anytime you see like any of those TikToks or IG reels we have on our Instagram at AWR_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, like anytime you see us make any of those videos, I usually run it by Khalid first. Like anytime I have a question of like, hey, how do I do this transition, or how like does this color grading look good right here, or does it look bad? Like Khaled's one of the first guys I ask because he's just so smart with that type of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, Marcus was here. Our friend Marcus was here yesterday asking us, working with the camera, and he's asking me a question. I was like, shit, I just wish Khalid was here. He's the dude who knows all this. And you might be wondering, damn, that Khalid guy looks kind of familiar. It's because he's everywhere at all times. There's not a place where I don't see him.
Facts.
Like he's here and probably somewhere else at the same time somehow. I don't know how you do it, bro. But
Things have to be done somehow, so they gotta be everywhere.
so I guess kind of like just tell us like what you do and how people might
how you know us?
Yeah.
How you know us?
Yeah. Networking, man. Meeting everybody and anybody. I was touching a lot of pies last semester and meeting a lot of people and kissing babies and shaking hands and everything, man. I'm trying to build a brand, man. I'm trying to build myself up to be
your politician shit kissing babies, huh?
I mean, you gotta sometimes.
That's the work you gotta do sometimes.
Hey.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, basically working with social media, working with cameras, working with like digital media in general. So that's touching everything in our worlds nowadays anyways. So I'm trying to open up as many doors as I can to see where I want to go. And any door that has a crack in it, I'm trying to step in to do something. So I met you guys through KTSW.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that would be a cool way to start it is just talk about how we met because obviously if you've been watching our recording for a while, you know me and Ethan. We've been hooligans at KTSW and at Texas State since my sophomore year, your freshman year.
Yeah.
Since this guy was a pup.
Yeah, we're babies.
I got a
man.
baby face.
We're babies now, and look at us. Him graduated. I graduated in May.
I got half a beard.
But somewhere in that time in between, I was still at KTSW, and I was told to go work on this package for the river rafting here in San Marcos and
Texas Water Safari.
The Texas Water Safari. Hey,
I just joined.
Great.
Just joined. It was literally like a second day on staff. So, okay, the day before I was officially on staff, I was already at a baseball game, watching a Texas State baseball game, like preseason game. Mm-hmm. And I think I met Nolan, which was weird. Met Nolan in the booth, and then I went out to the game, watched the game, and then I was like, so what can I do? And I went to talk to Dan. He was like, there's this thing that's happening. I don't know if you want to shoot it. And I was like, yeah, well, what is it? He's like, Texas Water Safari. I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, how do I go? What do I do? He's like, talk to Gage. I was like, all right, talk to Gage. I went and got this guy's number, hit him up. I was like, all right, so what are we going to do?
His DMs?
They were wide open. They were wide open, ladies. No.
He will see all your mentions.
The message said, "Well, hey, what's up, cutie?" with the kissy face, and I was like, "All right, I like this guy already." So, it's the water safari, and Khalid texts me. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be there, whatever time." It was early as hell too. It was like,
dude, I showed up.
You got there
8,
super early,
7 or 8.
Yeah. So you got there early, already giving me early indications of how hard you work.
For sure.
So I got there. I pull up around like 10, right? And I'm like, all right, let's get these interviews down. I meet you, and we got that shit knocked out real quick. And
it was like less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
We got like 3 interviews done and a bunch of B-roll, and we had nothing left to do the rest of the day. We
Yeah.
were just like, what do we do now? He's like, well, I'm gonna go, and I was like, all right, sweet. So what do I do? I was like, I went and talked to some more people. I was like, I didn't even know the way KTSW was set up. I thought you were like in charge of the station under Dan.
No.
I had no idea what was going on. So I was trying to be all like professional and stuff. I was like, so what's going on? He's like, that's all good, dude. I was like, all right, he's saying, dude, that's a good sign. It's chill.
Yeah.
Had no idea what we were supposed to do. And no one else gave us any indication of what we were supposed to shoot in the first place. It's just go out there and do something.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of like our industry is just kind of do you. Like make it kind of creative in your own way. And then this is really kind of what impressed me about you is we got done with that, and right after that I was like, okay, well, you know, if you need any help putting together the package or like the story or whatever, just let me know. Before I knew it, you already had the video done, edited, ready, looked amazing, sent to my email, and you were like, here, Gage, this is what I finished up. And I was like, what? I had to be begging my staff members to do shit for me sometimes.
Oh my God.
Hey, don't put me in that boat. I always did stuff.
Well,
Except renew your
No, I'm
paperwork to
kidding.
come to next
No,
semester.
relax.
You didn't renew the papers to come to the next semester.
Don't tell me that.
keep it down, bro.
No, but that's the you missed.
That's why I didn't meet you.
You missed me by one semester. If you would have came the semester before, you would have saw me. Because I was at KTSW.
That was COVID. Semester before was COVID. It was the end of COVID. Yeah.
It was the end of COVID, but I was still there.
I wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
All my classes were online because of that.
But I still was there. Like all my classes were online, but I'd still pull up to KTSW. I participated a lot. I was an assistant director for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
He was
work.
my assistant director.
Yeah, I'm Nolan's OG.
Oh yeah. That face doesn't. I don't like that face.
I'm a lot of people's OG, man. Nolan,
God.
Jason, who else?
Shit.
Marcus,
Hey, I mean,
Jairus.
I don't know how that reflects on them.
They're my youngies.
We could talk about some of the other dudes we met at KTSW too, who will probably be making a reappearance on season 2. We gotta talk about Deshaun and Jude.
Deshaun and Jude.
Those
will
are
be
the
coming on.
original OGs at KTSW.
Facts.
And, hey, I think it's KTSW's anniversary, actually.
30th anniversary.
Yeah, 30th anniversary. So that's really impressive. And shout out to KTSW for
Opportunities.
not just the opportunities, but creating long friendships.
Yes. Absolutely.
I don't think we would have met each other
And
without
as
those things.
KTSW's most famous alumni, I'm really proud that I was there.
Oh, brother. You know, I actually...
Oh brother.
Oh, brother. I actually talked to Dan about that. There is a KTSW Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
And I think we were all prime candidates. But Dan
You know
said...
the funny thing is, I know
We have to do
you
something.
guys did a sportscast that is in the Hall of Fame. You guys got something for it, right?
Yeah, we have two.
we got an award,
We have
yeah.
two.
I just got an award for mine as well.
Yes,
So we're in the Hall of Fame, boys.
Hey, Dan, if you're watching this, or Dan, if you do come across this in a couple years and you're like, I'm looking for some new Hall of Fame candidates.
I should be
we got
first
3
ballot.
right
I
here.
should be first
All
ballot.
3 of us should be first
First
ballot.
ballot.
We're putting in
On the wall.
our resume right here. You remember what we did. We love it,
The
Dan.
streets now, man.
But now, you know, we're getting towards the end of it. I mean, I graduated in May. Ethan graduated with his associates 2 years ago.
Say it loud for the guys in the back,
Yeah,
man.
he's had his degrees for a while. But, Khalid, you know, you're trying to finish up school, but what's your dream? Like, once you get done, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Obviously,
So you're starting out with a simple question.
You asked, you asked literally like the question of the next hardest
So
question.
what is life?
Like next for you? Like what?
no, I mean, like, what do you want to do with your career, though? Because, I mean, you know, you go to all the games and you're taking photography, and I know you lean towards sports, but I've seen you do other shit, and you have so many different interests besides just sports. What do you kind of find yourself leaning towards as you see the years kind of go by?
There's a lot of things that I have a fondness for from like since I was a kid growing up, and there's a lot of things that I want to work with from that period of my time, like National Geographic and Discovery Channel. I used to watch those a lot as a kid, and I still want to like. I would
just
I'll be
it's like a bucket list again. One day I want to shoot something for them.
for National Geographic. I want
Just-
something
just
for
say I
Discovery
did it.
Channel. And not even that. I want to work in that ecosystem. Like I love what National Geographic and Discovery have. Discovery kind of lost their way a little bit nowadays, but National Geographic still holds to it. And like photographic journalism, is something I want to do someday.
Yeah.
Like go out to the
You're damn good
Ukraines
at
of the world and
it.
look at
Okay,
actual
good,
pictures,
damn
and
good
documents
at
it.
it.
Appreciate it.
One day he's gonna be the official photographer for our recording. Man. I've been trying to convince him every fucking day, man.
Hey, we'll see about all that because we're having some money dispute. This guy doesn't want to pay our employees.
We had this whole talk yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All the guys came over, right? We're watching the basketball games, and we're just talking like I wouldn't say it's like inspiration. We were just talking very like I guess it was inspiration. We were just talking about like how we want to do things from now, and that's just from like an audio recording perspective, but from like a personal perspective.
Yeah, the life's like just like succeeding for ourselves.
We was dreaming.
Dreaming. Yeah,
We was dreaming, man. And we was talking, and we were cracking jokes like, oh man, when our recording blows up, because it's not a matter of like, will it's gonna blow up.
It's just when.
It's when. It's when.
It will.
It's when it's gonna blow up. And we're talking about like, oh yeah, like our dream is that like, man, me and Gage, each of us, we split 50% of the cut, so 25 and 25, right?
No,
and
that's not. That's what I said.
That's what you said. That's what I said. That's what he said.
That's what I said.
Airing out the dirty laundry right on the pod, boy. Let's go.
And then I said the other 50% to everyone else who helps us
We'll
and everyone who
like,
joins.
Okay.
Like 6-7%. Yeah. And I'm saying, and my response was that if that's your idea, don't let me be in charge. My idea is gonna be crazy.
This dude.
And now they're all scared of me that I'm a rob them for everything.
The voice of reason over here.
That's
all
why I
I'm saying
said
is,
I'm in the room for contract negotiations.
no.
I need to
I should be the only guy.
You should be on the outside of the room.
I should be the only guy. I'm gonna get them for the cheap, man. That's man. Our talent is great. I mean, it's
Corporate America.
It's okay. Our talent is okay. Like, isn't that our friends are okay at this? So I feel like we can get it for cheap.
Give it a little something. A little gas money, a little something.
A little something.
I think we got shooters in the starting five, man. I think all across the board we've got.
We can't let them do that though.
You're right. You're right.
This is overvalued. This is overvalued product.
Okay. We gotta play it like a small market team. Be like, okay, you're playing in San Antonio. Let's pay him a little bit of money.
Tell him, I'm like, bro, let me be
coming
the
play.
one to do this. Let me be the negotiator. Let me lowball them, bro. I can get them on cheap.
Twist them by the arm.
They don't know how good they are. Like, just let me do this. No, but now they all think I'm like a terrorist. Like, I'm gonna take them for everything they got.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know where they got that idea from.
I have no idea where.
No clue.
Jeez.
So, Khalid, I guess another thing that we could talk about is, I guess just like your background a little bit. Like, where did you come from? What made you want to come to Texas State? Because we know you came from Florida, and
Florida's totally different than here, man.
oh yeah. And
It's surprisingly not as different as you think it would be. It's surprisingly not.
And then before that,
It's the same, but with water and slightly more chill people, which is weird. Texas in general has more like
Chill
crazy people.
Oh,
than
crazy
Florida.
people. Really?
Austin has more chill people. Austin is like a weird spot. It's not the rest of Texas. The rest of Texas, like Austin is like this. The second you step out of Austin, you meet real Texans, and it's weird.
But you lived in Florida. You weren't scared of Florida man?
No, Florida man was not the worst person to be scared of.
What?
Florida man does not hurt you. Florida man, side effects might hurt you, but he's not gonna hurt you directly. That's why you don't gotta worry about.
I don't know. I saw headlines of Florida man fighting alligator in grocery store.
And did it hurt you? He fought the alligator.
Yeah, but
he saved me from the alligator. Okay.
That might
Oh
be.
God.
So if he tripped over and dropped some things and the alligator got away, that's a side effect. But he was trying to save me from the alligator. It's okay. Most alligators are chill. You just give them a little bit of meth. Everything's okay.
All right. So Florida was a good experience for you, I would say.
I like
right?
Florida.
Yeah,
I like
okay.
Florida.
But before that, you came from Saudi, correct?
Yes.
No, we'll give it away.
Was it the name, baby?
The name is Khalid.
I know.
Like,
Saudi Arabia.
But I mean,
he's brown skin. His name is Khalid. Like, what gave it away?
I mean, I just wanted to see kind of ask you about your home country and
Okay.
like talk about like what you.
He sounds like one of those guys that come up to you in a restaurant and it's like, man, be honest, right? I'm not racist, but like. Like he's one of those guys that just comes up to you like, that's what you sound like. You sound like Nola right now.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. I mean, you know, you spent a lot of time in Argentina and in Jamaica. I spent a lot of time in Mexico with my mom. So we have like these connections to these places outside of the United States that we grew up in. So I just kind of wanted to know like what Saudi means to you, and I guess kind of how you carry it with you as, you know.
I don't know. It's. I grew up split kind of between here and there. I grew up the first like 10 years here, and then like
You went
8
there?
years there, and then came back again. So part of me feels like Americanized, but the other side is Saudi. So like, this is how I put it. I'm Saudi, but Americanized.
Yeah.
Not American with Saudi in it.
Gotcha.
So, but I still try to hold on to my roots and culture and all the stuff that I do back then.
I think
is
that's
still part of
important.
it.
That's
It
important.
is.
I
It
think
is.
you always have to stay true to like where you came from, as in terms of like your family heritage and stuff. I think it's really important to just know about that and also be aware of it. So, but with that also being said,
That also means I'm gonna get called a terrorist by this guy.
Hey, that's not even the worst
Even though
thing.
he's the real terrorist.
That's not even the worst thing he's...
No.
Everyone knows I be messing around, man. It ain't that deep, bro. Like, I see Khaled out of all your, like, I'm surprised. I see Khaled probably, like, the most out of, like, up there. I see Khaled, like, as much as I probably see, like, you. Not as much I see with X, I live with X, but, like, I see Khaled probably more than I see Jason and Travis.
Because Travis doesn't want to go get up and go anywhere.
Facts.
Well,
Travis will only go somewhere, like...
Put some respect on Travis.
Travis will be down.
He goes to work. He's a hardworking man.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's
doing something though. He's doing his thing.
Hey, he's getting to work, man. And
no, we gotta mess with Travis, but we gotta put respect on his name.
yeah, love Travis.
No,
as always. I mean,
because I hang out with because we do so much stuff together. That's what's like. I think really dope about our friend group. We all find something to do with somebody.
Yeah, that's what's cool. Like everybody has their own things too. It's not like we're just floating around just doing nothing. We all have things that we're trying to get done.
And we want to do it with each other.
Exactly.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday is like the people you surround yourself with. So the thing is like since I started becoming friends with you guys is I like hanging out with y'all because you guys are always pushing yourselves and trying to become better at your craft. And I think those are the kind of people you have to surround yourself with.
You do. You really freaking have to. It's weird. Like,
Because if
you
you're-
hear things when you're a kid about like your parents try to tell you like who you surround yourself with and blah blah, and you don't really know until you surround yourself with like Ethan and end up kind of slowing down a bit. And then
See, the thing is,
Y'all keep doing this thing, man.
hey, the thing is, on a professional level, hanging out with Ethan, he makes me feel all the way up here.
Yes.
And that's a compliment to you. But morally, sometimes,
Oh,
sometimes I'm hanging out with Ethan and I'm like, man, am I a
gives you one
shitty
of those
person? I'm looking at myself in the mirror and
Jeez.
I'm like, man.
gives you one of those classic Ethan hot takes.
It's not even that. Like, I just feel like I agree with y'all, man. It's so important to like. I like hanging out with people that give a fuck.
Yeah, basically.
Like,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's cool to have friends that sometimes like you have friends for different things. Sometimes you have friends that like certain friends. I'm not gonna name names, but like certain friends you can call and you're in a car accident and you need them to come pick you up.
And they'll show up.
And they'll show up. Some friends they won't.
Yeah.
But those same friends like that you might be feeling really shitty one day, and they're the person you call. Like, hey man, I'm feeling really shitty today. You want to come over and just hang out? And they're the ones you call for that. You know what I mean? Not to say that like you use people, but like there's certain friends like whenever I feel motivated to do stuff, you two are probably the top of my list of people. Like whenever I have ideas, like you guys see the most. Anytime I have an idea, I just text y'all, like whether y'all respond or not. Like I just tell y'all like this is what I'm thinking right now. And, like y'all make me motivated to do things.
That's one of the things I appreciate you as much as I dog on you. Like you shoot straight. You don't bullshit. And one of the funniest things that I realized...
It's a waste of time.
One of the really funniest things I realized is most people have like their at-home selves and then they're kind of more professional selves. Your professional... Like,
I'm the same
your
person.
professional
I'm the same
self
person.
lasts like 8 seconds, maybe like a sentence or two. And then it's like, I'm back to being Ethan.
Hey, the thing is, once Ethan becomes comfortable with somebody...
It's never coming back again.
The thing is, you get the Ethan that we all know and love. And,
but that's not even true. Like I'm really the same person everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Like I'm really the same person. Like everywhere.
You just dress it up a little bit.
Oh,
a little bit. You have to. Because you have to. You literally have to. You literally have to in life.
It's sometimes like for some of the people, like the people me and you work for when we first met him, right? Of course, I have to dress it up a little bit.
You don't know what the dynamic is. You got to meet people.
Yes.
They don't know if they can, like, there are a lot of people, like, you just don't want to, I guess, jump the gun.
Make a bad impression.
Yeah, jump the gun and, like, make a bad impression.
But that's the thing, like, I don't know how y'all feel. I'm really never scared about making bad impressions.
I haven't noticed that from you either. Like, you don't, like, you care, but you don't really.
Yeah.
Like, if it's going to change who you are, you don't do it.
Yeah, like, why would I, like... It's just not meant to be. Like I'm a very proponent of like not necessarily like fate or destiny.
You love me for me, I think. Like if you're gonna have me as a part of your organization, I kind of see that. Like if you want to hire me and you want me to like work hard for you, you have to let me be myself. And if you're not gonna let me be myself,
that is a smart way to act
with
everything in life.
And everything in life. Man.
And one of the things that I most notice with you is you do it with the ladies as well. You do not let them play you, which is really smart. Which is really smart. Which is I gotta give them props for that. You be yourself, and the right one will show up.
Because it's gonna happen. Like you just have to believe that. There's no choice but to believe that.
The only other option is chasing them.
It's not even chasing. The other option is sitting at home. Not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like not doing nothing. You have to leave the house, bro. That's like a lot of people our age that want to get into the spaces that we want to, because all three of us really want to do it in media. Like you more on like the videography, photography side of things. Gage more of like the broadcasting, not like necessarily broadcasting sports, but just being a personality.
Yeah.
And like that's what we want to do. So in our line of work, like, or our line of life, that's what I should say. Our line of life, that's what I think we should. You just be who you are. Like, don't get me wrong, like these companies, like,
and that's what sells.
Because sometimes, that and like, but it's okay. Like sometimes who you are sucks right now, or aspects of yourself suck right now. But that's okay because it's gonna get better.
Yeah. And you know what I love the most about our field and like what we're getting to do with this podcast and everything is, like, since we're all in media, you know, we have a little bit of extra time, or
a lot of extra time.
Some of us do.
Yeah, some of us. At times we have a little more extra time.
I used to know that feeling. I miss it.
But that's why I be trying to get you at the house, like, because you work so much, and I be telling Khalid, I'm like, bro, Khalid just like, because Khalid lives a little way from like the rest of us, right? So I be telling Khalid, I'm like, Khalid, when you're in town, just come chill with us, like for like an hour, or you know what I mean, like. Something, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to do that with yourself, man, because you work really hard, man, and I respect it. But sometimes, man, it's okay, man.
I take it in gears. So next semester is going to be my slow down gear, give myself some time gear. I'm focusing more on work than school next semester, hopefully.
So the thing I was going with is like just the flexibility and the aspect of we can really do, like, we can work together and collaborate on things whenever the hell we want. Sure. It's not like... two guys who go to school together as doctors, like, you guys could be like, oh yeah, we can go to like work together at the same hospital. Literally together at any time. I could call Ethan or Khalid and be like, I could be across the country. Anytime, hey, let's film a video, or hey, let's record a podcast. Like, let's do something.
Anytime we link up, there's a product that we can make.
Exactly. Like,
we can have a video done.
And we're not even on the phone with it. And the best part of it is like not all the time we gotta like put it for our recording. Yeah. Like the amount of shit that like. That for viewers that y'all listen, the amount of ideas and videos that we come up with that we shoot, and we're like, oh, this is cool, but it's just not like now's not the time to realize we do that a lot, bro.
And the thing about it too is, as our recording grows, and as we start to grow too, we're all gonna start kind of doing our own thing. But at the end of the day, I know that that if I do need help or I do need that support, or I say fuck it, I want to talk about soccer, and I want you guys to come in and have an episode where we just talk about the World Cup. We can do that without having to worry about anything. So like that's one of the things I really feel like we shouldn't take for granted. That's one of the most fun things in my opinion.
That's what I'm trying to enjoy every stage of life right now.
Facts. Hey, just appreciate life, right?
Exactly. Kumbaya.
Appreciate life, man. But I'll say one person, or I guess one team that isn't appreciating life right now is Chelsea.
Ooh,
you went straight to the
heart. I know. Soccer lovers, this is for y'all. Because me and Gage
on all aspects of life, Chelsea's not having a good day.
A good couple of months, man.
A good couple. We'll see. The future is.
They don't have no money.
Have an owner.
No freaking chance of the Champions League. No chance of the Premier League.
Yeah. Oh man.
They don't even have like backup kits without the sponsorships on them.
Yes.
Like dang.
But for those who are wondering, right?
That's unfortunate.
We were having this discussion because we're all three of us are soccer guys. Like we love soccer probably more than our
before we switch up. That's what happens when you're made of money and the money's gone.
Yes. There it is.
Hey, and also I should mention two different levels. I love soccer. I grew up playing soccer, but I do not watch it as much as I need to. And that's something that we're working on. I'm here actually today to watch a soccer game with you guys and kind of get back into it. So I guess let's talk about the game yesterday, and then we can talk about the game that's going to be happening today. And
the 2-game series. There's two games yesterday. Yeah, were both interesting for two different reasons.
All right, so let's explain it, right? For those, because a lot of our viewers, like they're our friends. They're our friends, right? They have a lot of interest in like basketball, football, and
soccer's kind of on the side.
Soccer's on the side. Like they don't mind watching, but it's like cool. So this is me and Khaled's pitch to get y'all into this.
I got it. This is it. You stupid Americans. Are you watching right now, and are you like, oh, I don't know anything about soccer. They just flop all the time. Well, start watching it because it's really awesome. And this is
America qualified for the World Cup. Yeah,
exactly.
Come on. You got
care now. You got care now.
Exactly. So now this is your guide to get into soccer. These guys are going to help. Obviously, me and Ethan are going to do this throughout the rest of the season. I think we're going to have a couple more guests when we're getting more into soccer. But our pitch for this season is get Americans onto soccer.
You gotta hype people up for soccer.
Who knows? Maybe in the future we might have a video we try to get people into soccer. I digress. No, but like to break it down, right? To break it, I'm gonna get serious.
Yeah.
To break it down, right? Like for those who don't know, like the equivalent of like the Champions League is like the NFL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, right? Because in soccer, it's not just like there's not one league in the world, right? There's probably like every country has their own league, and like throughout decades, like in the '80s, the Serie A in Italy was the best league in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In the '90s, it was probably still Serie A, but
going into the early 2010s,
it's Premier League, and then end of Premier League, end of 2000s, middle of the 2010s, it was La Liga in Spanish.
Yeah,
the Spanish league, and now it's coming back to the Premier League.
Yeah,
like that's how I'd best describe people. And the way that works with these leagues is that at the end of each calendar year, the top really like 2 or 3 teams, they qualify for something called the European Champions League. And it's this big tournament where they get the best, quote unquote, best teams of Europe for that year in a tournament where they play 3 groups. They're grouped up into groups of 4. Mm-hmm. They play about 6 group games, home and away. And the top 2 teams from each of those groups.
With the most points in each group will go into the knockout stages.
Yeah. Knockout stages. And the knockout stages are a little different than the NFL and NBA or like American sports playoffs. Instead of it being one game, right?
Yeah. Home and
who
away.
wins the most games? They do home and away. Who scores the most goals?
Yeah, which I think is exciting.
It's very much.
It gives both teams an equal chance because they're not playing at someone's field or a neutral field. They get to play with their home fans, with their fans.
Both teams get a chance to play.
Yeah, and they both get a chance, and it's exciting football. Soccer
or football is awesome. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about it too is the delegation, I guess, of or the relegation of teams after that's something that's
one of my favorite parts about soccer.
I think that's
really
not in
American sports.
It is really weird. So if you're not familiar with the term, basically what happens in the English Premier League and a lot of the other European soccer leagues is if you finish. Or in America, if you finish at the bottom of the league, you get the number 1 pick, or to some degree, you get rewarded like that. In soccer, you don't get that. You get punished. You get sent down to the league right below, and the only way you can come back to the main league is if you win that lower
if you win it or qualify second, depending on each league.
Yeah.
You have to do good. You have to earn your spot in the top of the league.
It has 2
so there's no tanking.
I like to say like each league has like 2 or 3 races. There's a race to see who wins the league. There's a race to see who makes the Champions League.
Yes.
It's usually just the top 3 or 4 teams, and it's a race between
who qualify for the Europe competitions.
Who qualifies for the
who is going to survive?
So
almost every club in these competitions has something to be rooting for, and it's exciting for almost every club in there because there's the top 8 that are all fighting for Champions League spots or
European,
or European spots in general because there's 2 European leagues. They're fighting for those spots. Then you have the middle of the pack trying to figure out who's going to push up and who's going to push down, and
to
then
get yourself ready for the next season.
Yes,
and then the end of the season, you're seeing the last
5 or 6 teams
are fighting their everything off to try to get out of the relegation spots. Because if they drop, they lose money, and they lose the chance to sign better players. Because if you're in the top league, you have more of a pull.
Yeah.
But if you're in the
bottom,
if you're second,
so much
you don't.
money. You make so much money. Like this is like to break it down with like the consequence, right? It's like NBA terms, right? All right. So the Suns, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Grizzlies, right? They're all competing. The 4 main teams competing for the NBA championship, right? Underneath them, there's teams like Miami. There's teams like Dallas. There's teams like Golden State. Like those teams are qualifying to be contenders, to make it into the cup, so they have a chance to play these teams.
Yeah.
But then you flip it, right? The Pistons, the Rockets, the Magics. What if in the NBA, instead of those 3 teams, the worst record gets the highest chance? The best pick?
They get sent to the
G League.
Yep. And then 3 of the best G League teams move up and take their spots. Yeah.
But the thing is, they're not allowed to play. The Rockets aren't allowed to play in Toyota Center. They have to go play at a smaller venue because they can't afford the money. Teams lose so much money. They lose rights on TV contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah, the top league has the biggest contract.
And see, that's one of the things I love about it. But another thing that I guess one of my gripes about soccer is the salary cap, or the fact of no salary cap, because really what it comes to with soccer is if you are a rich owner of the team and you have a shit ton of money, you can buy any player you want, and there's no
They
limit.
added financial fair play now.
Financial fair play.
Financial
every
fair
league?
play in every in Europe.
In every European league. Yeah.
It's so lax.
It's very
my
lax.
team. One of my teams, like, because I'm a big Man City and Barcelona fan, right? Manchester City. We probably got the top 2 or 3 richest owners in the world, right?
Yeah.
We got violated for financial fair play 2 years ago. They were threatening us with, we're not going to let y'all play in the Champions League. They was never going to do that shit. They was never going to do that. They slapped us on the wrist. What was
You
it, like
guys got
2
away with a
million?
technicality because that's right when the financial fair play started.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can't count the money that started before it, but we can count the money that started after it. And the money that started after it didn't pass the cap. So
You get slapped for $1 million.
And that's it.
It's like, oh, shucks.
I spent like 140 million just buying a player, and you're gonna slap me for one? Sure.
Well,
Right.
I'm glad that they're making that change, because I think that was one of the big things that I think
Kind of split the teams apart.
Yeah, because especially in the Spanish league, you had Real Madrid and Barcelona obviously dominating the 2010s with Messi and Ronaldo, but when you look at the other teams in that league besides those two, I mean, those are the ones that had all the big players, all the money. Besides that, there really wasn't any other competition in the Spanish league. It was a lot of the other teams that were coming from England.
But that's not totally true though, because if you think about it, up until like 2006, 2007, it was Madrid. There was no Barcelona. Barcelona was still there. It was a Barcelona-Madrid rivalry, but there was no Barca. Like, it's not like they were 1A, 1B.
No.
It's until Barcelona got in their golden era.
Yeah, when their academy players.
When their academy players, La Masia, they like to call it, like, they had golden players of probably like 6 or 7 of the greatest players who ever played.
Yeah.
They all played on one team for about like a decade.
Yeah.
They were playing since they were children
together, and they all played for the one. That's what I mean. And then you have teams like Atletico who went in their golden era.
Yeah.
Like, they won titles in the Barcelona Real Madrid era. They
That's
made it
something
to
that you don't
Champions
get to
League final.
see in American sports. You don't get to see a squad built from the academy come up with their first team and then dominate or show themselves grow through the years.
Because of salary cap. Like, not being a salary cap in soccer, you're able to keep the players that you have in the academy. And it sucks because sometimes, like, a lot of time, it's hard for these smaller. I'll give you it's harder in soccer than in football and basketball for smaller clubs to become good.
Yeah.
Because what happens with a lot of these leagues is that the smaller clubs that they get in their golden age era, where they get 3 or 4 incredible players, and they showcase them for 1 year. The next year, all the big teams in the world, they come and they offer them like insurmountable money for these players. And how can you say no? Because if you're a little club who needs to survive, you can't
afford to not.
You can't
say
afford
no
not
on
to
that deal.
To say no on that deal, because the money that you have that you're gonna get from some of these 6'4" players is gonna keep y'all safe for the next 10.
But I will say, the last
even if you won't be as good of a team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the last like 8 to 10 years ish. So the last 8 to 10 years ish, it's been easier for little teams to grow. Because when they do sell those players, they've been pushing higher prices and they've been using that to reinvest in their clubs. So the club itself has been growing and sustaining itself. Like, one of the examples that people use a lot is Leicester in the Premier League, because they grew some good players. Sold them.
They did the impossible.
Then they
won
did
the
the
league.
impossible.
Before
they did that, they used some of the younger players. They grew some academy players and scouted low and sold high. And then grew their team, put it into the Premier League, and then after they put it into the Premier League,
It was like a Moneyball thing.
it was kind of like a Moneyball thing.
Like, they were like, okay, we're going to get rid of... I guess you could kind of...
Moneyball is the best way to do it. Like,
And there are now like
more teams doing that.
Yeah.
8 to 10 of those smaller sized teams that are doing the Moneyball thing in Europe and really doing well.
Yeah.
Because like financially, even though it's still really, really hard, because those teams probably, like, with the Premier League, you probably won't see a Leicester thing happen probably for the rest of your lifetime.
Yeah, and for
you never know, because those smaller teams are getting bigger now.
Yeah,
it's
but even so, like, there have always been those smaller teams. Leeds had all those big players that they ended up selling to Man United. West Ham had all those big players that they ended up selling to Liverpool. Like, Southampton, same thing. Like, we call them feeder clubs in soccer. You know what I mean? Like, in the NFL, it sort of happened with the Jaguars. The Jaguars had a lit-ass team. They had Blake Bortles. They had Leonard Fournette. They had Jalen Ramsey. They had Calais Campbell. They had Miles Jack. They had all these guys. They had A.J. Bouye. The next year, they all got bought off and they left.
Yeah, they sold them off, and now they're still rebuilding. For me, I think kind of the way I see like the contract situation, or try to relate it over to our NFL listeners, people who are trying to get into soccer, I think one way we could describe it is like the Devontae Adams trade for Green Bay. He started becoming a really great player. Obviously got like $30 million a year. They couldn't afford to pay him anymore. So what they did instead was just ship him off and got stuff in return. And basically what a lot of these teams are doing now is they're letting these players grow through their system. And as soon as there are these stars that these big teams are ready to throw money at them, those teams are ready to pass them off and
reinvest.
Yeah, that's reinvest.
And a lot of these clubs that's part of their like idea of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that like
ignoring all the politics and all the money stuff right now, getting into soccer has we got too much into the weeds.
Yeah.
Right now, soccer is really easy to get into because the World Cup's right around the corner. It's a crazy World Cup that's going to have a lot of countries we haven't seen in the World Cup. Canada and America, like your neighbor and your country are in the World Cup.
Mexico,
yes sir. Go watch it. There's gonna be, dude. If America, Mexico, and Canada qualify to the next stage, the chance they're gonna play each other. That stuff's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, but it's also really easy because international football, like this is the worst it's ever been from a talent perspective. None of these teams are
the clubs are all close to each other. All the countries are really close.
There's no top end teams.
That's gonna destroy everything.
So you're saying like maybe not the talent isn't as high, but the parity level is at the most even it's been for years.
It is, but even still, like as a talent level,
I don't disagree. I disagree. The talent there is there. The talent for the play, individual talent is there.
The best teams in the world that they usually were the best teams. I'm not saying.
You're saying like the historical big dogs?
You're talking like Brazil, Argentina.
The best six, 7 teams. The best 7 teams, except for maybe like 2 of them.
Germany.
They're at the worst they've ever been from talent. France is up there as talent. Like they're loaded. England and France are probably the 2 most loaded team talent wise. Everybody else is in their worst era.
As long as Mbappe's on France, man, they might be.
They're still like France is in their golden age again. Yeah. Like England's in their golden age. Everybody else this is the worst they've been for 20 years.
So it's gonna be fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Fun. And Saudi qualified to the World Cup, so I'm gonna be watching.
Are all of our teams in the World Cup?
Yes. Yeah. All in the World Cup. Argentina, Saudi,
Mexico.
Did
Jamaica make it?
Half was out. No, unfortunately, I was rooting for them.
I wanted them to.
That would have been.
Hey, but at least one of our
Saudis in the group. Saudis in the group with Argentina.
Yeah, they are.
So that's gonna be interesting.
A lot of fun.
I gotta see who Mexico's in a group with.
Argentina and Saudi.
What? They're all
Mexico's with us?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
God.
We're at each other's throats.
No. That's gonna be some dangerous stuff right there.
No.
Second the game starts, I don't know y'all. I don't want to hear nothing. We're gonna get beat, but we're gonna do it with style. Probably fighting, but also with style.
Hey, and so we could talk about the World Cup and kind of like how that would work, because I feel like a lot of people like see that the World Cup is going on and see that it's exciting. Yeah.
I feel like that we should save that for.
We should
save that for a soccer episode, because
like a full soccer episode.
I think now we've kind of given y'all the tip, and we can't give y'all the whole thing yet. You know what I mean? Pause.
That's our time,
brother.
That's our time for today's show. But yeah, I agree. So if you guys are interested in learning more about soccer and want to hear us talk a little bit more about soccer and relate it to you dumb Americans, let us know.
I didn't say he did.
But I feel like now we're sort of getting towards the end of the show. There's one thing we were talking about before the show that I think this is the perfect place to discuss it, right? While watching the Champions League and seeing the great draws with Madrid and Spain, Madrid and Chelsea, I was telling Gage, I'm like, the NFL should adopt the two-leg playoff.
Two-leg knockout?
Yes. 2 teams, when they play each other in the playoffs, instead of playing 1 game, winner go home, they play 2 games where one team plays at home, the other team plays at home the next game. And whoever scores the most points wins on aggregate. And
I like the idea in general. But will the American crowd be open to it?
They won't. And see, that's...
Because it's more money. If they just add an extra game in, it's more money for the owners. It's more money for the teams themselves.
You take away the regular season, right? You take away the regular season games. Instead of it being 18, you take it down to 12. Because the biggest thing is the health, like the bodies. The players can't play any more games. Instead of playing 18 games, you're playing like 12, 13 games, right? You add 8 games to that. Really, 7, 8 games. Wild card, divisional round, playoffs, and then 1 game final. Right? It's going to end up finishing the same amount of games as a normal 18-game regular season with 1 game playoffs. You get what I'm saying?
There's more important games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could work, but it all hinges on the American public. And the American public don't like change.
And that is a big thing.
Anything from Europe.
that is a big reason why for
bidets are not in America yet, and you want to talk about adding a 2-leg system? They don't.
Yeah, I mean,
teach them to watch their ass with water.
Yeah,
and then we can change some more things.
Let's lead the horse to water before we make him drink it.
Exactly.
So I think we got to get.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's
It'd
a good
be
idea
fun
too.
To watch.
It's going to take some time, and it's really something that the NFL has no idea or has no intentions of changing anytime soon. And this is also a preference thing too, because for me, as much as I love that and I think it's awesome for European soccer, one thing that I appreciate about the NFL playoffs and like March Madness is the single game elimination, because it makes it more interesting. And to Ethan's point that he's made a bunch of times is we don't really see the best team, which talent-wise, we might not see the best team, but I think like we do get to see these like cool Cinderella stories, and we get to see like young stars in the making. And they're showing. I mean, Tom Brady had to start like that too. I mean, he wasn't just making Super Bowls every year.
I get your point, but we can still see those. We still do. Even in the soccer, we still see those.
I get that, but right now,
Real Madrid. Right now,
Real
Madrid is one of the worst teams that is in the Champions League.
This is one of the worst Real Madrid teams
we've ever seen.
But they're one of their best players, probably their second best player, third best player, is a 20-year-old.
And they're getting dragged into the freaking quarterfinals.
Into the fire, yeah.
But look, 2 games I think would make it more interesting, because the tension is still there. You win that first game, you're on a high, but the tension of losing that second game is still there. Yeah. So I think it keeps it more interesting for longer.
It would be interesting to see. I mean, again, I'm not opposed to it, but it is preference to, again.
What is the kids? What's the kids football? What are they, like the tykes? What is that?
Little tyke.
There's like a football regulation for children, isn't there? Like a football league for kids.
There are a bunch of them. I mean, like
just do that with them and test it out.
Well, so the thing is, you've got college football, you've got the NFL, you got the XFL, where that might not be a bad idea to try it. Because if The Rock's taking over,
to be fair, that's a smart idea for another league that wants to
exactly. You could
do that.
You could
do
try
something different.
Because the thing is, like, for me, I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. But looking at the NFL, they're stuck in their ways. They're going to keep doing what they've been doing because they're making fuck tons of money. They're the biggest sport in the United States, and there's no doubt about it.
My whole thing is with the money too thing is that like the NFL playoffs would last longer because you're playing 2 legs.
But it's a risk that the old white men are not going to want to take.
That and injuries too. Again, football is the most physical sport. So
rugby.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. In America.
Yeah. I should say football is the most physical,
more injury-prone state.
Injury-prone American sport. Yeah. So the thing is, like, the argument of we would get like the better teams getting through,
but they'd get there with more injuries.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, one injury in the first game, so like say we have Green Bay and Dallas in the first round. So they play in Lambeau first. Say Green Bay wins, but they lose Aaron Rodgers. He tears his ACL and he's down for the rest of it. That changes the whole thing, and that can happen even in any other game.
But in a 1-game playoff, it happens. The same thing happens.
Exactly, but what would it? I don't know. For me,
just play defense the next game.
And
he has more time to heal up for the actual important game.
Because
well, not
but he has.
If it's an injury,
Would I rather, in that comparison, would I rather see a hurt Green Bay team without Aaron Rodgers in the next round, or would I rather see a fully healthy Dallas team with their quarterback? I'd rather see the fully healthy Dallas team.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean,
the more you think of it, the more interesting it gets.
It is. I think it's an interesting discussion. I think it's definitely something that
so all in all,
should be looked into.
So all in all, to wrap it up, right? I think the NFL should adopt the 2-legged system, like how soccer and European sports do it.
I'm in. I think it should work.
I say not right now. I think it is something that they could do in the future, but as of right now, I think I like the way it is. I think the way...
Are they stuck in their ways, or are you one of the problem?
The thing is, I'm not stuck in my ways. I'm just realizing and saying, realistically, this is something that won't happen.
Yeah,
of course it won't happen.
But we're just voting on what we want.
If you would want it, I mean...
We're just voting on what we want. What would you want?
Again, I guess it's preference.
Of course,
so what is your preference?
So what is my preference for NFL football is I'd rather have just a single game elimination. I like basketball with 7-game series. I like soccer with the aggregate, but I think football at its core is just a 1-game. Prove it. This is.
But to be fair, with basketball, I feel the same way to a certain extent. I don't think the first round of the NBA playoffs should be 7 games.
No, me neither.
I think it should be best of 5. Like first person to 3, and let's wrap. I don't want to see a 1 seed play an 8 seed. 7 games. Like I don't. Like,
Well, if they ever even.
I'd rather see-
There's a lot of things that should change for like recent times because things are getting.
But that's the thing. The NBA used to have it like that. It used to be like
Yeah,
that.
it used to be a 5-game
Yeah?
series. It used to be 5-game series in the first round, and then after the first round, it was 7-game series from then on.
Wow.
So, I mean, you never know. The thing is, like, the NFL is always looking for ways to expand into. They've been trying to expand into international markets. They're trying to get a team into London, and
I think
looks like it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be
looks like it's
Jacksonville.
gonna-
It's gonna be Jacksonville.
it could happen. I
It
think
looks like they're going to London.
realistically, I think it could happen
There
in
might
the
be
next
a team
10
in-
years.
yeah.
In the next 5 years.
You know, a lot of the
maybe.
people that go watch those games are Saudi. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
The thing is, bro, football is growing all over the country. Like the United States, obviously, is football.
Yeah.
Everyone loves football in the United States. Mm-hmm. If they get it out into
Other markets.
England and into
Mexico.
Germany and other European countries and shit, even South America
Mm-hmm.
with Mexico and stuff like that, then I think that would be a perfect time to introduce the aggregate thing, because that's something that more
That is very
European
true.
populars are
More
familiar
used to.
with, and that's something that the American audiences could be like, damn, that would actually really be interesting. It would make it more fair, or not fair, but like the competitive. Okay, this team gets a game at home. This other team gets a game at home. Whoever has the most points at the end of it wins and moves on. Is not a bad idea.
I'm enjoying this. I didn't know we were going to talk about a sports podcast the whole time. That's fun.
See, man, we bring new things to the table, man.
All right. Bro.
But I mean, we're getting kind of towards the end of this, because I know we're trying to get some stuff done. We've got stuff to do for the rest of the day too.
Busy people.
Yeah, we got some things to do. But Khalid,
Trying to run a train.
what? Okay, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. I'm kidding. Get out of here. So,
Sully my good name.
Khalid, thank you again so much for joining.
Thank you, bro.
We gotta do the last
appreciate
segment of the show.
you. Yes, I was just about to say.
What's up?
Final word, man. What do you want to tell our audiences for our?
Man. No argument. Any horrendous take that you have that you need
It
to
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be horrendous. It could be anything about
Crazy
life,
take.
anything about work.
That
It could be
people
just
need to accept.
wise words that people.
Should have given me a minute to think, man. I don't
Nah,
do good with these
we like to put
questions.
our
We're
guest
on
on
the
the
spot.
spot.
Come on. You gotta think, man.
It could be just something easy. Our last guest, by the way, go watch the video in our YouTube channel. Brock
Brock
Sturgis said he wants to see more love in the world.
Okay.
That's a good one, right? I am
That's the easy way out. He took the easy way out, man.
on my episode. I think we should get rid of airports.
Yeah, Ethan did say that.
And do what? Everyone just has their own private plane?
No, people don't deserve
He's just saying
airport.
people don't deserve to be on airports.
They don't
said
act,
why?
They act a fool. They act a fool, bro. People don't know how to act like that in malls. I think people act a fool.
You just don't like groups of people.
Facts.
Fair
You
enough.
ain't tell a lie.
Oh, all right.
All right, what do I think? You know that thing that you've been thinking about doing? Just go do it. Just go and dart. The things that you want to go learn about, the things you want to go try, like you've been like slacking on, just get up, pick up your things and go try it. If it's like riding a motorcycle, go learn, go take a course. If it's freaking taking pictures, go pick up a camera. If it's playing a certain sport, you're going to suck at it in the beginning, but everyone sucks in the beginning. So just go try it, go freaking do things and figure out what you like. That's the only way you know what you want to do.
I'll add on to that. Leave the house.
Yeah.
Life cannot be lived in the house.
Nope.
You have to leave the house.
Explore.
That's
meet
where you
people.
go when you've been outside.
Hey, meet people too. You don't get where you are.
Us two would have
without-
never met if we didn't leave the house.
True.
Shit, we wouldn't be right here if we didn't get out of the house.
Your favorite podcast wouldn't exist if we didn't leave the house.
You wouldn't have had new
Shit.
profile pictures if we didn't.
Nah,
Both of you, hey!
Man.
I know I got his profile picture.
Yeah.
Yours is gonna be soon, don't worry.
Is it gonna be a surprise?
No, I took pictures
No.
of you. You're gonna make your profile picture.
But we need another, or we need. I don't think we've done.
We need
one.
a-
We need an Are We Recording photo shoot,
We
Ethan,
do.
where we can.
Nude?
Okay.
Alright, guys, thank you guys for watching.
Guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Wait.
No, that's really what we're going to close off the show, though. So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Khalid, again, thank you for joining,
My
man.
God,
We
man.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
much love. Big fucking hug. Thank you guys for watching Are We Recording? It was the young Rottweiler Ethan Hamilton and 007 Gage Sutton. We'll see y'all next week for another episode. Peace out.
It's blooming.
Hey, is this thing on?